Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I'm ready to deliver for you this morning. I know you count on me for that. I had a text message from a fan yesterday that made me feel great. Maintains that he is getting everyone at his work to shift over to Real Talk 1160 in the morning. Gotta love that. You know how I prepared, folks? Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury this morning. I prepared for my show today by listening to the Greg Kill Band, Jeopardy, and the breakup song. Then I listened to some Knack, Good Girls Don't, But I Do, classic. Then I listened to the Partridge Family. That's right, the Partridge Family. I Think I Love You is one of the greatest feel-good songs of all time. Then Led Zeppelin, the Immigrant Song, which when I come out of retirement and I fight my next MMA fight, I'm going into the ring to the Immigrant Song. Last time it was Thunderstruck, I think. Shoot the Thrill, I think, maybe. And then I concluded my show preparation by Maroon 5, another, I tell you right now, top 10 feel-good songs, She Will Be Loved.
Hold it. Wait a minute. You gave me static about Huey Lewis in the news, and you listened to the Partridge Family this morning?
Hey, I challenge you, TC, to play the Partridge Family, I Think I Love You, and all of the ladies and all of the men out there in Bulldog Nation will be saying, yeah, baby.
I'd say nothing wrong with the Partridge Family, but you didn't like Huey Lewis?
I think I love you. I liked Huey Lewis.
All right, I'm glad you did.
By the way, I've decided, I took a vow. I am no longer going to comment on any of your musical choices. Causes too much show consternation. And then let me tell you something else that happened last night.
$18 word.
Let me tell you what happened last night, too. I am signing an agreement today to do some television shows with a company from out in the West Coast. And we posted it on Facebook, and I said, I'm going to do this on my webcam. It's right here. And I am going to do it. I am going to sign it.
That's contract.
But they don't want to announce it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to sign it, but I'm not going to announce it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But the bottom line is the cat's out of the bag. I've been talking about this for a long time. I'm going to be working with somebody. We're going to produce, and we're going to own it, TC. More risk, more reward.
Sponsored
but
by
we are, exactly. Are you ready to be on national television, TC?
I don't know if national television's ready for me to be on, but
I think you're probably right.
I'll give it a shot.
And then the other thing is Judge Bulldog's another one. So we're going to have some fun. And guess what? I brought a show and tell today. And there it is, TC. New Maxim magazine. I get Maxim.
Hello.
It's great show material. And I'm always just marvel. I mean, how do you pick the 10 sexiest women in the world? And wait, they said known universe. And with all due respect to these guys, because I like Maxim magazine, there is no way that this woman here, I'll show you a picture right here. I'll show you. Now, she's cute, but come on. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, top 10?
No, the most beautiful woman has not been discovered yet. Those are just the ones that we're aware of.
Oh, get this. Okay, I hear some people, that by the way, that's Adrian Palicki. Okay, and they're top 10. Okay, Megan Fox,
yep.
I can deal with that. Mm-hmm. Emma Stone? No way, she's a Lindsay Lohan lookalike.
That's not a bad thing.
Katy Perry, I can go with that. Olivia Munn can go with that. Barr, I can go with her.
Oh, yeah.
Mila Kunis, no way. Olivia Wilde, yes. Malin Ackerman, no way. And get this, from Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence, great actress, top 10? No way. See, you know what I'm going to do when Bulldogs Max comes out with their yearly 10? They're going to be the top 10.
See, what happened is those are the ones that the writers and the publishers said they were sitting out somewhere and they saw a pretty woman and said, hey, I can get you in Maxim magazine. Why don't you come back to my place? We'll talk about it.
I think you're probably right.
That's what happened. Those are the ones that agreed to say yes.
I think you're probably right. Today in history is, I'm telling you, some days in history I think to myself, well, of course, you only got 365 days, and you got unbelievable world events. But, you know, the reason why we do the day in history isn't just, to tell you what happened this day in history. There's just some fun stuff in this. 1431 today, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake.
Wow.
That's a rough day for Joan.
Not a good day at all.
1806, Andrew Jackson shot and killed Charles Dickinson in a duel after Dickinson accused Jackson's wife of bigamy. The old Bulldog would do that. The new Bulldog does not duel.
No more dueling?
No more dueling. 1848, by the way, if you're listening, I've never fought a duel. 1848, Mexico ratifies the treaty ending the Mexican War. And by the way, of course, the next year we discovered gold in California. Sorry about your breaks in Mexico. 1896. Now, I'd like to know who recorded this. Like, how do they know this is the first one? The first car accident occurred when Henry Wells hit a bicyclist in New York City. God, I wish I was back then. I could have got that case. The case settled for 25 cents.
I'll tell you how they
which
knew
was
that
the
was
highest
first
number
one.
at the time.
Because Bruce Davis reported it on this radio station. That's why we knew it was the first accident.
Sounds good to me. 1922, Lincoln Memorial's dedicated. Isn't this great stuff?
That is. That's really good.
1935, Babe Ruth's final game, and he went hitless for the Braves against the Phillies.
Oh.
Poor Babe. 1951, Ezzard Charles, which we named a street after, Cincinnati's own, beat Joey Maxim, whom they named Maxim Magazine after, in 15 heavyweight boxing, in a 15-round boxing title. God, ladies and gentlemen, I have fought not even one round of MMA, and I want to tell you that if you fight 15 rounds in a heavyweight boxing match, you are in some kind of shape. That's incredible, man. Thank you for that.
By the way, speaking of Ezra Charles.
Yes, Ezzard.
If you look out from our beautiful patio here over at 19 Plaza, the fog is so thick you cannot see Union Terminal from here.
It is thick.
I mean, it's
That's
not
current
there.
peanut butter.
It is.
Now, I always thought fog. Fog's scary to drive in, scary to fly in. Hey, this is another a first for our show today. The joke is so funny. The joke is so good, but I didn't think it was appropriate for radio.
Oh, okay.
So you can only find the joke of the day. It'll be up on Facebook, and you can also check it out in my newsletter. It just involves a body part, So I just left. And by the way, I could tell it clean, but it's probably not appropriate. But I'm telling you, it is hilarious. So check out the joke. That's where you got to check it out.
To read Bulldog's newsletter today.
That's right. You ready for some pop culture?
Why not?
Anchorage, Alaska, TC. I don't know how they decided this. Travel and Leisure ranked Anchorage, Alaska, the worst dressed in the United States.
The worst dressed?
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to put signs up. Welcome to Anchorage, Alaska, the worst dressed city in America.
Bring your mucklucks.
According to Travel and Leisure. Boehner on the Hill. News accounts indicate Boehner smokes up to 2 packs a day. Old news. Boehner has been quoted as saying that tobacco is a legal product and I choose to smoke it. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's a way, John Boehner. Let me see. Blind folk musician Doc Watson died at the age of 89. Sorry to report that. And this is scary for all you Romney supporters. Reuters reports that the celestial charts favor Obama.
Oh, really?
We got to get Ed. Ed Klosko, where are you, buddy?
We need him in here.
We got to get you in here. Maybe he can refute that. Paris Hilton, what is her claim to fame? Being a blonde, being a ditz, being naked, doing videos with men.
And born into money.
She's worth $1.5 billion, it's reported.
Wow.
Jeez, OP, 1.5. Ugh. Steven Tyler owns the world's fastest convertible, the $1.1 million Hennessy Venom GT Spider. I think that car needs some more names. The Hennessy Superfast Venom Mach GT out-of-this-world Spider will accelerate to 200 miles per hour in 15.9 seconds, 8 seconds faster than the Bugatti Veyron.
Have you seen that car?
No.
There's a picture of it on Yahoo News. It looks like a Batmobile.
Really?
Yeah, without the fins. I mean, sharp-looking car.
200 miles per hour in 15.9 seconds. That means that when you step on the gas, it just...
When you walk this way, you better get out of his.
I don't know why we put this in pop culture, but here you go. Americans now eat more chicken than any other kind of meat. It's passed up beef.
Really?
Chick-fil-A's happy.
It's healthier for you, I suppose.
We went up from 40.3 pounds per person in 1970 to 83 pounds in 2010. Wait a minute. America's gotten fatter. That's funny. Wasting time and with an access to devices such as smartphones, laptops is spread. Children in poor families are spending considerably more time using them for purposes other than education. Give me a break. Poor families, heck, rich families, everybody uses them for the same thing. We come back. I'm going to tell you who Obama honored yesterday. The Presidential Medal of Freedom. One day we'll get ours, TC.
Got a couple of marriage and divorce cases in pop culture we got to talk about, too.
All right, we come back. 513-579-1160 on Real Talk 1160.
Bill O'Reilly's coming up at 7:28 this morning. Catch the O'Reilly Report right here on Real Talk 1160. And now, let's get back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Before we get to Obama's Medal of Freedom honors, we do have some more interesting news. He mentioned divorce. Todd Bridges is getting divorced, TC, from Different Strokes.
Yes, getting divorced from his wife of, I think, 14 years. They have a 13-year-old son. Seems like they're pretty friendly. He said she's a great woman, great mother, just people grow apart.
There's somebody that I know that the best way to get divorced, you hire the same lawyer, prepare the papers, you file the papers, it's over. Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City.
Yes.
I never did like her. Did not like her character. I thought she was kind of bitchy, you know.
Miranda. Yes, she was a little bit.
But she is marrying the love of her life. What's her name?
The love of her life's name is
but they're getting married.
Christine.
And by the way, you can tell by the way they dress who plays what role.
But the other one had the baby.
I know.
They have a child together, but
it's weird.
Yeah, they were married over the weekend, so
we're happy for you, Cynthia Nixon.
If you're happy, I'm
Except
happy.
I'm not gonna back down. I do not support gay marriage. Attorney John Doerr, who represented the government in civil rights cases in the 1960s, was honored. John Glenn, Dolores Herrada, who helped organize migrant farm workers with Chavez. Oh my God. John Paul Stevens. Oh, by this is funny. John Paul Stevens, the most liberal judge of all time. Maybe Brennan on the Supreme Court. He said that he did not rule on ideology. He did by practical. Yeah, right. But that's okay. Good for John Paul Stevens. I love the name. William Fogey, with an F, a physician who led the charge to eradicate smallpox during the 70s. Pat Summitt. Shimon, is that how you pronounce it? Shimon Peres. I know it's Perez. President and former Prime Minister of Israel. Gordon Hirabachi, who defied the U.S. internment of Japanese citizens during World War II.
I had a girl like that, Hirabachi girl.
Jan Karski of Poland, who first told the world about Nazi atrocities against Jews there. Juliette Gordon Lowe, who founded the Girl Scouts. Madeleine Albright. I can understand that. First female Secretary of State.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Bob Dylan. And Obama commented that when he was in college, his music just made him grow. And I'm sitting there, he was smoking.
Smoking pot, yeah.
He was smoking pot, listening to Bob Dylan. Do a Bob Dylan imitation. I bet you can.
His acceptance speech.
He said, blowing in the wind, man. Blowing in the wind. Blowing in the wind.
What was that blowing in the wind? Oh, that was smoke.
Well, there's your pop culture for the day. I know you feel less educated as a result. But that's why we do it for you, folks. How about the big, I think this has got to be the big news and local news. Two stories in local news. But the one is yesterday, workers arrived at the Thermo Fisher Scientific on Empire Drive in Florence to find deceased 42-year-old Michelle Mockbee dead inside the office area.
Wait, let's get that name right. Who was that?
Michelle Mockbee.
Okay, all right.
42. Died and I'm thinking to myself, man, that doesn't happen every day. Apparently she worked in the office, and, I'm sure it was a lover or somebody like that. Shot, killed, dead. Well, they said it's a homicide. I'm assuming shot, stabbed, shot, who knows.
Yeah.
But sad. And then, of course, the other big story, I think, is the little William Cunningham, 1 year old. His babysitter lied.
Make it stop.
And then passed away. Kind of weird his name is William Cunningham.
I know.
And then Portman. The Enquirer's reporting that Romney's already made up his mind, and it's Portman. It just hasn't been announced yet.
He doesn't want to be president, does he?
Rob Portman. When you think about it, I just think about that. You grow up in a Cincinnati area, you get elected to Congress, then you go work for Bush, then you get elected to Senate, then you're vice president. You're one heartbeat away from the job.
Yep.
Congratulations, Rob and the Portman family. What the heck, man? Good for Ohio.
Good for Ohio, but I think Rubio would have been better for the country.
Well,
or even Christie.
And maybe this is just like they're putting this out there to see what the media reacts. I still can't believe he picks Portman over Rubio.
You might be right, though. They're going to see what kind of reaction they get. I don't know if that's a done deal yet. You may be right. They're just putting out their feelers.
And I guess this is big local news too. Financial rating company Moody's, that darn Moody's. Moody downgrades me every week.
Don't be moody.
Bulldog, we're going to downgrade you. Moody's downgraded Hamilton County's sales tax revenues bonds, meaning that when the county goes to refinance the bonds, that's going to cost them more money.
Which means a stadia are costing us more and more every year.
Isn't that special?
Very.
Cincinnati Beer won the gold medal at this year's World Beer Cup. Sarah's two-headed Buffalo Gold from Rock Bottom Restaurant and Brewery scored the top honor as the best craft beer.
Nice.
Congratulations, Rock Bottom Restaurant. I think you need to add a name to that, though. Sarah's two-headed Buffalo Gold is just a little too short of a name. Sad to report, as the economy improves during this recession, that Bob Evans is laying off 110 workers.
Really?
Yep. And Boone County's new wastewater treatment plant opened Tuesday in Petersburg. I was involved in this way back when the battle started about where this should be located. And we lost the battle.
Oh, well.
Well, what the heck?
It happens.
In sports news, the biggest news in sports locally is that yesterday, while lunching with teammate Ryan Ludwig in a Pittsburgh restaurant, Todd Frazier saved a man from choking by using the Heimlich maneuver to dislodge a piece of steak.
Yeah, he is a real hero off the
So
field.
apparently some other people were trying, it didn't work. They weren't strong enough, and he came over and pop.
So the fat guy.
And then get this. Last night, Jay Bruce has 3 hits, including doubles, and Todd Frazier drove in 2 runs. And we beat the Pirates 8-1 to get back on the winning margin. And tonight, the Reds play at 7:05, and our ace, Johnny Cueto, is on the mound against A.J. Burnett, who's probably the Pittsburgh Pirates' best pitcher.
The gods were smiling on Todd Frazier and on Homer Bailey.
Yes. Yeah, on Homer. Way to go, Homer.
I was ready to send him back, but no,
yeah, me too. Me too. Homer and Link both. Maybe they'll both kick it in. The Spurs beat the Thunder 120-111. Tony Parker scored 34 points. I want to tell you something about this. I don't know why, folks. The Antonio Spurs are the boringest team in basketball on any level. The NHL kicks off tonight. Kings versus Devils, 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m. tonight, I get my weekly massage. Is that sports? Is a massage sports? Are you an athlete? They always argue, NASCAR drivers aren't athletes. Are you an athlete if you get a massage?
I suppose so, because you probably need one, after a vigorous workout. Now, what I'm asking you about this. Is bass fishing a sport?
It's going to be soon. Kentucky, apparently there's 50 high schools in Illinois that do it. In Kentucky, it's a perfect sport for Kentucky high schools. Are you kidding me?
Now, how do you work out and train for bass fishing?
Well, first of all, you warm up your casting arms. You lift weights. Get a case of beer if you're over 21 and still in high school.
Which is possible.
Bass fishing. We come back. We have some more sports news for you. We will continue to inspire, entertain, and inform you on Bulldog Nation Radio like no one can in the country. By the way, some national people are listening, so I got to do a really good job, TC. Don't bring us down, TC, on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Yesterday, I told you I was going to be on CNN. Well, it got booted until today.
I stayed up all night.
By the way, that happens all the time. I'm in the biz. I know what it's like. You get bumped for another story. It could happen again. Yeah. But if it doesn't happen again, I'll be on Nancy Grace tonight on CNN about the William Cunningham story.
Do not look her in the face. You'll turn to stone.
Yeah, I'm going to say, hey, you skewered Sarah Jones. I will not skewer. A couple things. One more thing before we get back to sports. On Saturday night, we were at the Barnes & Noble down in Newport on the Levee after seeing a movie. And this is the first time ever we've ever gone to a Barnes & Noble or Joseph Beth or any bookstore, and I didn't buy anything, and my wife bought 2 books. And by the way, folks, my wife is reading that smut, 50 Shades of Grey. And she's explained to me that it's about this guy named Christian, who's a billionaire, and he's a dominator, I guess not dominatrix, dominator, to some college graduate named Anastasia. And she's on the second book of this 3 books. She's bought the 2 books Saturday night. I actually asked my wife, I said, is there any more to that plot, or is that getting old? She admitted to me last night that it's getting old, halfway through the second book. But she's watching it. And let me tell you something else. That's too much information. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm going to say it anyway.
Should we discuss it first?
Would you think that if a woman was reading a book, TC, about that kind of thing, they'd be more frisky?
Well, see, I don't know about that kind of thing, but I would suppose, yeah.
They say women are all buying this book.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing but sex in it.
Well, it's supposed to benefit the guys, right?
No.
Working the opposite?
Yeah. But anyway, she gives me my American Express card after buying these 2 books. I stuck it in my pocket. The next day I look for I can't find my American Express card. So I canceled it. My new one's going to arrive today. So I just want you to know out there, if you're somebody trying to use that American Express card, you can only use it on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
You know where it is? It's in the laundry.
Oh, my God.
That's where it is. It's in the wash.
You know, they get you back a card pretty quick these days. All right, back to sports. We got to finish up a few things. Roy Halladay, who was like Mr. Cy Young, 6.11 ERA in May. But his arm's hurt. Let's hope he's okay. And then finally, this is just too funny to pass up. And I feel sorry for this guy. Terrell Owens has been released by the Allen Wranglers and lost his ownership stake in the Indoor Football League team. The team says Owens didn't plan to play in 2 upcoming road games with playoff implications, and the 6-time Pro Bowl receiver also was a no-show for a scheduled appearance at a local children's hospital with other players and coaches. Terrell Owens is never going to change whether he's playing pro football, indoor football, flag football, or no football.
You get cut from the team that you have ownership.
That's bad.
That's not good at all.
Don't cut me, man. I'm part of the team. We don't care. You're cut. Majority rules.
We're trying to win this year.
And by the way, this is great. The Godfather has submitted an entry which is worthy of the airways. You know, we don't air him, Godfather Bob from Aurora, unless you hit one out of the park. Bob Dylan says everybody wants to get stoned, so drink green water, and you'll be knocking on heaven's door.
We remind people that it will not kill you.
Yeah, it just makes you sick.
Yes.
Green water will not kill you. It'll just make you sick.
Forget those fancy diets. Just drink green water.
TC, I don't always do the history story, but today I have to. Have you ever heard of a guy named Pinus Cage?
Pinus Cage. I don't think I have.
I haven't either.
A name like that sounds like child abuse.
Get this story. Pinus Cage was a railroad foreman in Cavendish, Vermont, and he was placing high explosive inside a hole drilled in a rock. But he mistakenly dropped a 3-foot-long tamping iron into the hole. It set off an explosion and shot the heavy inch-thick pole back out of the hole and straight through his head. It entered under his cheekbone and exited through the top of his skull. Cage fell back and went into convulsions. Everyone thought he was a goner, but moments later he was up and talking. Expected to die, he confounded doctors by recovering. Something, however, was amiss. Gage had undergone a complete personality change. Gone was the honest, trustworthy, hardworking man his friends had known. Kind of like when Patty Euclid drinks too much. She gets completely different personality change. The new Gage was vulgar, irresponsible, prone to bouts of profanity. Fired from his job, he ended up on display in Barnum and Bailey's circus. Hey, look, this is the guy that had a pole go through his head. After his death, doctors exhumed his remains, and his skull was donated to medical researchers. In time, his much-studied case helped change the way science looked at how the brain works, providing the first evidence that different regions of the brain might control different things. The brain had begun to disclose its secrets, though at a great cost to Pinus Cage. Related, Cage died 13 years later after the accident, penniless and suffering from epilepsy. His skull, if you want to visit him, TC, is now kept at Harvard University.
Really?
True story.
Yeah, that's one you can't make up.
Now, I don't know what they make a movie about that guy. That would be a great movie about that guy.
That would be. They did something similar to that, didn't they? With, what was that movie John Travolta was in years ago? Where he had all of a sudden his whole personality change and he was like super duper smart and then he just died.
I don't know.
It was oh my God. I was at the checkout yesterday at the grocery store and just happened to glance at the tabloids. On the cover, John Travolta in full drag.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God.
I was shocked. He was wearing pearls with that dress. It was horrible. I couldn't believe what he was wearing.
You don't wear pearls with that kind of dress.
No, not at all. It was
By the way, one of the 7 o'clock shows, I don't know if it was Inside Edition or Entertainment Tonight, they did a puff piece with Kelly Preston, and they don't even mention John Travolta's name last week.
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you want to observe with your own eyes a very good argument why John Travolta could never, ever, ever be gay, rent the movie Mischief and watch it. And when you see Kelly Preston reveal herself, there's no way that could turn John Travolta gay.
He's had some hotties that co-star with him in his movies.
Check out Mischief. He wasn't in the movie. Some other kid was. But I would guess Kelly Preston had to be 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I got a great story for you out of Massachusetts.
Give it to us, TC. Give it to us.
9-year-old kid. His name is Brendan Haas.
Brendan Haas.
He had a free trip to Disney World. He had to trade a bunch of things to get it. He gave away a trip to Disney World, 9-year-old kid, gave it to the family of a fallen soldier.
That is awesome.
Isn't that incredible?
You know, right when you think maybe humanity is gone,
right?
We hear a story like that.
There's a kid with some great home training. He deserves Oracle status.
He definitely deserves. We'll give that kid Oracle status.
Brendan Haas.
Brendan Haas.
Awarded Oracle status.
I don't know if all of you all realize this, but a 16-foot-long space rock discovered on Memorial Day. I thought they were supposed to discover these things a little sooner. Passed by us Tuesday, only 8,950 miles from Earth's surface. Then, another asteroid, 69 feet across, barely missed us, 32,000 miles away.
Ooh, that's pretty close.
TC, how are the odds just not there that sooner or later one of these are going to hit us?
I don't know. I just keep moving, keep dodging,
TC, if you knew you had 5 minutes to live, the asteroid was coming. It's a great question. By the way, William, who I let pick our questions of the day, he does a lousy job lately. I have to rewrite them. I mean, he says, what do you like, vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream? Well, come on, William. I know you're listening. You got to be more creative than that. But how about this? See, William, this is wisdom here. You have 5 minutes to live. The asteroid is coming. You're next to the most beautiful woman in the world. Do you, for 5 minutes, do you pray? Do you wax philosophical? What do you do, TC?
Well, my first inclination would be to do what every man would want to do.
Right.
But then again, I don't trust science. They might be off by, a few hundred years or something. It's like, oh, my God, what did I do?
Hey, if John Travolta was looking through a telescope and an asteroid was coming to the Earth, what would he say?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Look out, Mr. Cotton, here it comes.
Oh, my God. Let me see. This is, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if I have one, we come back. I'll share with you what I was going to say. 513-579-1160. I don't know how to pronounce this word. It's some new HIV thing, but when we come back, I'm going to warn you about it on Real Talk 1160.
Well, the Florence Freedom took a hit last night. Actually, they only had a couple of hits. They lost to Southern Illinois. Looking for a shot of redemption tonight. They'll play again. We'll have the pregame with Steve Jarnicki at 7:50. First pitch at 8:05 right here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We're having an outstanding show as always. It'll slow down a little bit at 8:30 when Dr. Kurtzman comes in and slows us down. But other than that, we'll continue to rock. Hey, you know what, TC? This drives me nuts. You go through a drive-thru. I know it happens to everybody. You go through a drive-thru, you order your food, and there's something wrong with it. Now, every time I do that, I just cuss at them, you know. But I never go back. It's like, I ain't worth going back. I understand somebody at Taco Bell decided to take matters into his own hands.
This happened just in a suburb north of Dayton, Huber Heights. A guy went through the drive-thru with his girlfriend, got their order, realized that they forgot to put in her 99-cent soft taco. So he ran his truck through the building. Unhappy.
I thought I had anger issues.
No, this guy did not. He needs a Happy Meal.
Wow. He needs a Happy Meal.
And he admitted to it. Yeah, I did it. He's in jail for vandalism now.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Over a 99-cent taco.
That's not worth it.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
By the way, this is funny, TC. Let me see. During the course, this is funny. My newsletter and blog, right?
Yeah.
It's free. So people are signing up for it. And I would say that we're 3-to-1 more people signing up to it. But every once in a while, people do unsubscribe. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And I let them unsubscribe in peace. In other words, I don't say, man, why'd you unsubscribe? But I recognize every once in a while some of these names. Like I know who they are. Yeah. Okay? This is funny. Lately, in the past week, there was 3 people who unsubscribed. And I'm like, why did they unsubscribe? And I thought to myself, it's hilarious. They're unsubscribing. They don't know that I know that they unsubscribed. Whoa. So when I run into them one day, hey, man, why'd you unsubscribe to my newsletter? Oh, but you know what? Sometimes you do it accidentally. I've unsubscribed to things accidentally.
But isn't
that funny? They think that they're dumping the Bulldog Nation newsletter in secret, but they're not.
These are people that you do know personally.
Yes. But by the way, they're not like close personal friends, but I kind of know who they are. Now, this is another funny thing. The subscribes are always interesting, too. And MailChimp says, yippee, when they subscribed. And then what do they say when they unsubscribe? They say something like nuts, or maybe they're just not into you or something. They got the standard line. It's kind of funny. Anyway, just want to let any of you aren't going to unsubscribe. I'll know you did.
This is MailChimp?
MailChimp. We used to use, what was that one? Constant Contact till they made us mad. We dumped them.
Okay.
MailChimp, you ought to sponsor my show. North Carolina is not only the place where John Edwards' jury is still deliberating. Some veterans didn't get respect they deserved on Memorial Day. Walmart employees at a store in Elizabethtown, North Carolina, called the police on a group of veterans from the VFW handing out poppies in front of the store. Bad. My daddy told me you can't teach judgment, and that was bad judgment. By the way, I got a report on that, too. The Deters Company Snappy Tomato Pizza board meeting yesterday.
Yes.
We talk about the big, important things of our company.
And you get bored.
We spent 30 minutes arguing over whether one of our Wendy's was handling the coffee correctly. I wish the video cameras for my reality show was there rolling.
There's really only one way to handle hot coffee.
It would have been a hoot.
What were they doing wrong? Can we discuss
this?
Well,
what it was is they ran out of coffee, and as my dad pointed out, by the way, I was on my dad's side on this one. As my dad pointed out, the employee should have said, it's okay, we are out of coffee, but we will brew you a fresh pot. Anybody who likes coffee would love that.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, we're out of coffee.
In the lotto
do you notice the difference?
Yes, there's a huge
And
difference.
as my dad points out, employees sometimes don't want to do things like, for example, self-serve ice cream, fried chicken, these things that you do in convenience stores. Employees, they don't like it. Why? Because, they got to get off their butt and go make an ice cream cone, you know.
Right.
And then they got to clean it up every day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Leave that mess there.
Just want to let you know that we will be serving coffee at all Wendy's, and it'll be hot.
By the way, I understand that there's a really good deal on the Beast right now for $21.99.
You're darn right there is.
I'm going to be eating pretty well this weekend.
Eat lots of Snappy Tomato Pizza and support the Bulldogs family.
That's right.
A Disney fantasy ship was sailing from Port Canaveral, Florida, to Grand Cayman Sunday. It spotted 4 men aboard a small raft. They were brought aboard, given medical attention along with food and water. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, this is ingenious. You want to go on a free cruise, paddle out on a raft, and wait for the cruise ship to come. Is that a genius?
That's it.
These guys got a free cruise.
Nice.
In some legal news, Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell, a retired U.S. Army colonel, supports drones flying over Virginia. I say vote that guy out of office. We have enough invasion of our privacy. We're going to have drones flying over.
Why don't we send the drones to Afghanistan and send our boys back here?
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to be swimming those laps naked at night, and those drones are going to be snapping pictures.
And that will be the end of the drones.
That'll be the end of the drones.
That'll teach them.
Hey, Chuck, get the Bulldog Nation anti-artillery ready. We'll shoot down the drones. 8 states get no child left behind waiver. Connecticut, Delaware, Louisiana, Maryland, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, and Rhode Island.
Ohio!
Only 19 states are bound by. How do you get away? Oh, my God. How do you have a law? And you say, okay, you can do it. You don't have to do it. You can do it. No child left behind was stupid.
It was.
The judge tossed the NFL Players Association retiree lawsuit. She said she was emphatic to their concerns, but they had no legal right to hundreds of millions of dollars in additional post-career benefits. Off to the circuit court they'll go. The prosecution rested in the Clemens case. The government called 24 witnesses, the last an FBI toxicologist. Clemens lawyers say they will need 2 weeks to call their witnesses. The big question, will they call Roger Clemens?
That's
the Rocket.
Now, if you were defending Roger Clemens, what would your closing argument, your closing remarks be?
I would walk up to the jury rail and I would say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, number 1, my client stands charged with lying to Congress. Just pause. Just wait till all of them start laughing. And the chief evidence against my client is a beer can with some stuff in it.
Right.
And then I'd walk away. That's it. Jury goes back, not guilty.
I would just say, let he who has not lied to Congress cast the first stone.
You know,
we have anybody in Congress?
I want to tell you something, TC.
Yeah.
And I am making this announcement as a suspended lawyer, but a licensed lawyer in Florida. I'm allowed to do that. Less is more.
Okay.
Less is more. And I want to tell you that it's very important to do that. I mean, I see so many times, it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, I told you about those depositions I took where I got that guy so mad he stood up and said, F you in the middle of the deposition to me.
Wow. Nice guy.
We're going to win that case. I
just wonder how much money we could save our government or that we could save the taxpayer if we didn't have frivolous cases like Roger Clemens in court.
Look at all the money, the prosecution. Edwards, Clemens, all of them.
You got to feed those jurors.
Got to feed them. By the way, Dennis Rodman had to do 104 hours of community service after being found guilty of 4 counts of contempt for failing to pay child support. You know what? You have to admit, by the way, there but the grace of God go I. Just because you made a lot of money doesn't mean you don't go in the economic tank. You take risks, whatever. Everybody wants to judge. Man, plenty of people have lost their money.
Right.
I mean, they've taken risks. They've tried to double their money, whatever the reason. But you know what? One of the things that always bothers me is the child support thing.
Yeah.
You got to pay your child support.
You have to.
Some people are telling me that Phenomenon was a movie about that story.
That John Travolta, that was it. Was that the one? Phenomenon?
I don't know. They're saying that was the movie about it.
Okay, because there's an Eric Clapton song in that movie.
When we come back, I'm going to let TC play a feel-good song, and we're going to talk about Texas. Romney.
Yeah.
Romney won Texas on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. TC, do you have a song to put everybody in a happy mood today?
I think this is going to put everybody in a good mood. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
You know, I have to keep going back to the 80s, going back to the MTV thing. But I think you guys are going to like this one. Modern English, Melt With You.
I love this song.
And a great song.
Great song.
On Hit Radio 100.
I love this song. Good choice, TC.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a thing to say to a woman. You were never second best.
Great line. Crank it up, roll down the windows, let your neighbors hear it.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
I'm feeling good, TC.
Yeah, baby.
And it's getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Modern English have any other hits?
I don't think so.
Isn't it great how most of our feel-good songs are one-hit wonders?
They had that one great thing in them.
It's weird how sometimes magic can't be repeated.
Yeah, one-trick pony.
Crank it up, TC.
Made a pilgrimage to save this human's race. Never comprehending the race had long gone by. I'll stop the world.
This is used in movies a lot.
Yeah.
You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time.
Let's face it, you only need one hit to get rich.
That guy kind of looks like Prince Edward, doesn't he?
I like the dude in the white hair. I'm assuming that's a dude.
Yeah, he was in the flock of seagulls. They kicked him out, I think. No,
Really?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just... He just stole their hair.
He just said, Harold, we don't like your hair. Get out of here. What year was this?
I'm going to guess 83, 84.
You know, you can tell a good song because it has 3,300,000 hits on YouTube.
Yeah. They get paid for that, don't they? They get a little check. Hot as it was this weekend, you could have melted
Brad
with
Amster
anybody.
says 1982.
82.
He can retrieve anything in a moment's notice.
He's like got a Google mind, doesn't he?
He is. One day, Google will hire him away from me. Isn't that bass? Boom, 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 boom.
The drums are the best part right here.
I'll stop the world and melt with you. You've seen the difference and it's getting better
All the time.
There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop.
What a great song.
And that's what Texas did. Texas voted for Mitt Romney, and he clinches the GOP presidential nomination.
So now he has 441,092 delegates, right?
Yeah, and Rick Perry came out and stumbled around and said it was a good thing.
What's he gonna do?
I'm sure you know. This is the conversation between the Romney campaign and the Perry campaign. We'd like you to stay in Texas. Please do not speak for us outside of Texas.
We'll call you if we need you.
And when you're in Texas, be careful. Donald Trump had a fundraiser for Mitt Romney and raised $2 million in Las Vegas yesterday.
Nice.
Come on, Donald. Can't you do better than that? Why don't you have your celebrity apprentices plan a fundraiser for me? All right.
Because you can't run till 2020.
I know. He took a shot at CNN's low ratings during a pretty hot exchange with Wolf Blitzer. Wolf Blitzer. When he first came on the scene, I liked him. I don't like him anymore. Trump says, many people do not think his birth certificate was authentic. Frankly, if you would report it accurately, you would probably get better ratings than you're getting. Kaboom. Kaboom. You know what? All the other cable shows besides Fox just are easy targets for their ratings, which all stink. Attorney General Eric Holder, the IRS, and liberal lawyers of the ACLU will brief several hundred pastors in the American African community on how to participate in the presidential election. In other words, let's forget about that gay marriage thing. We won't prosecute you for anything you do. You can embezzle all the money you want. We won't charge you. The Commerce Department is considering naming Arab Americans a socially and economically disadvantaged minority group eligible for special business assistance. I will go bonkers. Anybody but the normal guy. Everybody but the normal guy. Let me see. Romney had a campaign ad, according to National Journal. He's got running. I haven't seen this one in Ohio yet. More than $16 billion have gone to companies like Cylinder that are linked to big Obama Democrat donors. Obama is giving taxpayer money to big donors, then watching them lose it. Good for them, bad for us.
Yeah.
It is an outrage. I mean, you get that money. You could say, okay, I'm going to put a few mil in my bank, a few mil in Switzerland. The company fails. I don't care.
Hey, that sounds like a plan to me. We're going to put the green water in a Swiss bank account.
Yeah. Romney called for the United States and partner nations to arm the opposition so they can defend themselves in Syria. But White House Press Secretary Jay, get it all mixed up, Carney warned that would lead to more chaos and carnage. Let me tell you, Jay, if you're getting shot at, you need a gun, or you're going to have more carnage. Marco Rubio on Tuesday toured the U.S. detention facility in Cuba. And his day-long excursion marked the first time he had set foot in the country that his parents fled.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was that all about?
He wanted to go down there and check out Guantanamo Bay.
Okay.
Make sure Sheikh Mohammed was doing good, getting his 4 square meals.
No, that's nice of him.
Jeb Bush says he was flattered that people considered him as vice president, and he'd consider it, but doesn't expect to be asked. Don't hold your breath, Jeb.
No, I don't think so.
You're George's brother, man. That's why I don't understand about the Portman. Portman served in the Bush administration. I'd want all the Bush supporters, all the support money, but I wouldn't want a Bushite in the office.
The best thing for Jeb Bush would be to change his name to Perot.
Right. By the way, Jeb Bush was the smart Bush, too.
Oh, yeah, he was.
He was the smart one.
How do you think they won Florida in 2000?
Yes, man. Cory Booker's communications director abruptly resigned as the Newark mayor faced continued criticism from Democrats slamming Obama. How funny is that your own party starts slamming you because you spoke the truth from the heart? Yeah. Every day, TC, you speak the truth from the heart of how you feel about Robin Meade.
Yes.
Why should I chastise you for that?
Exactly. It's not like she's unattractive.
Who's her fill-in today? Who's the blonde?
I know her name. I can't think of it off the
You
top of my
consider Robin Meade the most attractive woman in the world, and that woman number 2?
Yeah, I'd say she's number 2.
She's top 10.
Yeah, definitely top 10. She should be in Maxim.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I just want to let you know, don't worry about me. I will remain libertarian, independent, and conservative. The fact that TC has got me watching CNN in the morning some is not going to change my views. I'm watching it solely for one reason.
The eye candy.
He wants me to look at Robin Meade with him.
That's it. That's all. I would melt with her.
Let me see. We have some economic news that is worth reporting. New York State accounted for the biggest migration exodus of any state in the nation between 2000 and 2010. 3.4 million residents left the state.
Really?
It's what higher taxes do to you, buddy.
That's just where people go, isn't it?
Yeah, Chuck Schumer wants to, save us from every possible ill in the world. He said airlines implementing fees for preferred seats like window and aisle seats could result in small children being separated from their families if their parents cannot afford to pay more than the original price of their ticket. I'm Chuck, they could. If you buy a ticket, you got to provide a free seat for their kids too. He'll make it a law.
Yeah, the airlines aren't going for that.
Home prices in Atlanta has fallen 17.7%. Go down there and buy yourself a house. BlackBerry's business just keeps going down, down, down. I'm glad I got rid of my BlackBerry. They're not going to be around too much longer.
That iPad's the thing, man.
When we come back, more radio superbity on Real Talk 1160.
8:19 at Real Talk 1160. We're just 11 minutes away from Mike Huckabee and the Huckabee Report coming up at 8:30 on Real Talk 1160. And now, let's get back to the one, the only, the Bulldog.
Thank you, TC. That was your best introduction of all time. Also coming up after the hour, we'll have our good buddy Dr. Kurtzman in here. I'm sure he will be ready to go. By the way, TC, do you know the Avengers? $1.3 billion worldwide now.
Man.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
You know what I think? The government ought to get into the movie business. They could pay off the national debt a little bit. Think about if they had a movie like The Avengers.
Guess who gets 5% of that movie, I think?
Greenwater?
Downey.
Does he really?
I think so.
So he's
because the Iron Man character was so critical and important to it. He did a deal, I think. He gets like 5% of it. Holy cow.
That's an excellent deal.
He'll be satisfied.
I want his agent.
Good agent. Let me see. More firms are opt out to recruiting. Firms are ramping up internal hiring efforts, investing in new career sites to boost intra-office movement. It's always good to hire from within, isn't it? Bring in that outsider that none of the women in the office like. They all look at her. Who's the new girl? I want to tell you something right now, TC. This is a fact. Sorry, folks. It's a fact. Every time I hire a new female, if she is pretty, there is a probationary period in the office. It takes time for the women that are there to accept her. And then when we get to that acceptance, everybody's happy. If I hire a woman, and of course this doesn't apply to anybody in my office, who isn't like a super babe,
right?
Immediate acceptance.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
I mean, it is so incredible.
They're so critical of the pretty
ones. It's like,
not like anyone in your office.
Why'd you hire her for? I bet you he hired her because she's cute. Man, he hired her. Yeah.
Now, none of the women in your office have any reason to be jealous or lack self-esteem or anything. They've got it going on,
No.
But one more pretty babe, it's like oil and water.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, it is amazing. Female dynamics. Women are hard on women.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, folks, if you represent a woman in a case,
yeah,
man, you need men jurors. Men want to help out a woman.
Yeah. Well, now, see, the thing is, if you hire another male attorney, the only reason that the other attorneys in your office wouldn't like him is he's a Steelers fan.
Yeah, right.
That's about it.
You're right. Let me see. Even in a weak economy, some Americans are willing to pay more than $1,000 for an espresso machine. That phenomenon is one of the few bright spots for the home appliance industry. Espresso machines are flying off the shelves, TC.
With a lemon twist?
You know what that's called? That's called the separation, the gap that's happening in America.
Yeah.
See, that's one thing that I agree with. There is a diminishing middle class going on right now.
Yeah.
The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. I don't like it. Union leaders at a striking Caterpillar plant in Illinois say they are urging workers to vote against a slightly revised contract offer from the construction and mining equipment maker. Vote against it. FedEx agreed to buy Brazilian logistics and transport company as it furthers its expansion into Latin America. Remember I told you about the rich get richer?
Yeah.
Neiman Marcus,
upscale.
Well-heeled, right?
Yeah.
Profits rise 35%.
Who's got that money?
35%.
Who's shopping at Neiman Marcus?
Not me. I don't shop there. I don't go to. The only hoity-toity store that I go to.
Yeah.
Is Tiffany's.
Oh, you and Newt shop together, huh?
Yeah. I wish I had a $500,000 credit line at Tiffany's. Can you imagine? My God. Then again, there's some pieces of jewelry in there you could buy 3 things. Your credit line is maxed out, Mr. Deters.
That's it, right? Just walking in. That's it.
But anyway, I mean, Tiffany's. But I don't go to Saks. Do you go to Saks?
I walk through there on the way to somewhere else.
Neiman Marcus. Do we have any other hoity-toity stores in town?
We have a few, I guess. I'm sure there probably are. Somebody
and by
with
the
money
way,
would know what they are.
By the way, Bulldog Nation, I just want to let you know, I don't ever buy high-priced stuff in Tiffany's. They got nice charms. They got nice, they got some low-dollar things.
Right.
I'm not in there buying $10,000, $100,000 jewelry.
I shop at Saks Walmart. Or I buy Saks at Walmart. That's what I meant.
That's funny.
Garbage bags. They're
Garbage bags. Everything you can get. By the way, I'm going to tell you something. What do you think? I'm being honest here. What do you think of Walmart?
It's all right. I mean, there's some things I'll get at Walmart that are a lot cheaper than going someplace else. I mean, I don't like the way they treat their employees. I hate that they're low paid, but in this economy, I'm sorry. Sorry about your luck. I got to do what I got to do, you know?
Every time I go into Walmart, it's kind of weird. I always buy something I don't need or want. I mean, it's kind of weird. I'll go down this aisle and check this out. But I don't know what it is. I can't even put my finger on it. I don't like shopping there. I don't know what it is. There's something about it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I can't even put my finger on it. I'd rather shop at Target than Walmart.
But there are a lot of things you can get at Walmart.
Then again, I don't shop at any of these places, folks. I can't remember the last time I was in either.
You and Michelle Obama are at Target. Come on now.
Target's not hoity-toity, is it, over Walmart?
No, I don't think it's hoity-toity at all. No.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it to me. I mean, Target seems like what the heck? Hey, I wonder if there was a party after, he gave out all those Freedom of Medal on, those medal, what's it called?
The honor.
Medal of Freedom.
Medal of Freedom.
Medal of Freedom.
Okay.
I wonder if they had like a big party afterwards. Bob Dylan, sang a song for them.
Yeah.
Madeleine Albright danced the jig.
It's been a good time.
I mean, I'm serious. There had to be a private reception with all of them.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, they did something, yeah.
TC?
Yes.
What do you think about this whole thing going on with this little boy, this sad little boy, it's William Cunningham? The autopsy shows he had a brain injury, he had a head injury, bruises, bumps, and everything else. Do you think she's protecting somebody, or do you think she did it?
Okay, now I'm confused. First, she said that the boy was missing, and then she said he was not missing, that he's at home.
Right. He was dead for 48 hours in the closet. God love him.
Her story has changed so much that I'm thinking she's protecting somebody. Somebody did something, and she's trying to.
And how about this, TC? Apparently, this little boy would stay with her like for weeks on end.
Yeah,
that's weird.
And this is like her best friend's child, right?
Right. And her best friend has other children. Yeah. And there's no father involved in the picture with this William Cunningham, apparently. But gosh darn, it is so sad. How do you eat a one? Oh, then there's been reports about the discipline, the mom disciplined harshly. Like, but they could still go to school. Riley is a year and a month old. Same age as William Cunningham. You don't discipline a 1-year-old. You gently say no.
Right.
You don't spank a 1-year-old.
You scold them and correct them.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't that's messed up. And you know what, TC? Not to brag about my parenting skills, but I always thought that a happy toddler becomes a happy kid becomes a happy adult.
Yeah.
And I look at Riley, and her mother has done a wonderful job. She is like the happiest little kid I've ever known. She was happier than my kids when they were kids. I mean, Riley is just happy. She had to go to the doctor yesterday and get 4 shots. Apparently it was horrible and terrible.
But she wasn't happy about that.
No, she wasn't happy, like torturing the poor little thing. But then she was showing off. You ought to see this picture. I ought to post it on Facebook of her showing off her Band-Aid. Oh. But Riley is just so darn happy and cute. How could anybody hurt a child, TC?
I don't know. That's such a depressing thought. We can't go into the break with that depressing thought. So let's change the subject just quickly, for a second. You said, she got all these Band-Aids, of course, after she got her shots.
Yes.
Do you know they have Band-Aids now? I think Sesame Street characters are on the Band-Aids. If you hold them under your iPad, they come to life.
No kidding.
Kermit the Frog starts singing and dancing. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, isn't that great?
I know in recent years they've come out with all kinds of Band-Aids, with kid stuff on them.
Right.
Kermit the Frog dancing. When we come back, we're going to have the Plastic Man, Dr. Kurtzman, with us. We're going to see if he can improve these Maxim magazine ladies.
I don't know.
Bulldog. This is the Bulldog. 513-579-1160. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I want to thank Montgomery Eye Care, Dr. Laura Florenza at Harper's Point for advertising with the station. Also, Andy's Mediterranean Grill and Wellington's Orthopedics. Patty Eucalyptus has been working instead of drinking.
Andy's is some good food. That is good food.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, it's that time of the week when our show gets rudely interrupted by Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman from the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group.
Rudely interrupted. I understand your top ratings are this half hour every week.
That's right.
Are you kidding me?
That's when the 9 people all listen at the same time.
I've done an independent survey.
You know, I stopped. After we quadrupled the ratings in the first few months, I stopped looking at them.
Quadruple's good.
Do you like history, Dr. Kurtzman?
I do like history.
Hatfields and McCoys is a mini-series that the History Channel's doing, and I think they finally realized that, wait a minute, Showtime, Stars, HBO, they're all doing these historical-based documentaries or mini-series that are doing great, so they decided to do their own. And Kevin Costner plays the head of the Hatfield family. Bill Paxton plays the head of the McCoy family. And there was 2 hours Sunday night, 2 hours Monday night, 2 hours last night, and the conclusion is 2 hours tonight, 6 hours about the Hatfields and McCoys. And I always knew about the feud and everything. I knew one family was West Virginian, but I'm understanding it all the more. But I'm telling you, this is great television. I mean, it is just so well done. I mean, last night we had to witness Devil Ance Hatfield, Costner's character's brother gets shot and stabbed by 3 of the McCoy sons. So he kidnaps him basically and holds them. Lets their mom come see him. And then when his brother dies, he takes those 3 sons out, ties them to the tree, and shoots them. I mean, it was a dramatic scene. I mean, incredible. But they're just killing each. I mean, it's crazy, but it's such great history. And I think everybody ought to tune in and watch it, the final episode tonight. Even if you didn't see the other 2, they are rerunning them so you can catch it. So with that, have you seen this great piece of work, Dr. Kurtzman? Are you too busy with breast augmentations?
I am kind of busy right now with surgery, but there's always time for history. I have not seen it. I've seen some of the promos. It did look very good. I'll probably catch it on the reruns.
Now, here is an interesting tidbit I didn't know about the Hatfields and McCoys. Those 2 fought side by side in the Civil War.
Did they really?
Yeah, they were friends.
Huh.
And then what happened?
They had a feud.
McCoy's
brother got shot by a Hatfield, and that's where it started to deteriorate.
So it had nothing to do with the cow?
And then get this. They became the Devil Ance Hatfield's son, Johnsy, had a relationship with McCoy's daughter. They thought it would bring the families together. Not.
No.
And then she ended up pregnant, and then it was really bad.
Kevin Costner ends up in a lot of these history movies. He did, The Patriot?
Yeah.
What was
no, he didn't do The Patriot. He did Dances with Wolves. Waterworld, that was history, wasn't it? Yeah. Dr. Kurtzman, what do you got going on at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery? Got any specials going on? Do you have any part of your practice at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery you'd like to share with the American jury today?
Everything is special at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery. But what I'd like to talk about today is some male plastic surgery. About 80%, 90% of what we do is for females, but there are several procedures that we do primarily for males. I'm going to talk about implants. We do implants in different parts of the body for females, the breast implants especially, but the males get several types of implants. We have bicep implants, pectoral implants, buttocks implants, and calf implants. And I do have actually 2 patients coming up.
All of those things on me are big enough. Continue.
There you go. Especially your butt.
Yes. Continue.
But calf implants, we actually have people that their calves are very thin.
My wife tells me my calves are too thin. Go ahead.
There you go. Sign them up. And that we put implants in there to match the muscles. They look very natural. We do the bicep implants, tricep implants, pectoral implants. I mean, they really make a nice change. They're very natural looking, very natural feeling. They're actually made out of a solid silicone. Almost feels like a firm Jell-O type material. And they go in. They can be carved and shaped. There's all different shapes and sizes as necessary. The scars are pretty well hidden. For example, the pectoral and the bicep implants we put in through the armpit. The buttocks implants just right above the buttocks crease, a very, very small incision. You know, and it's for people that try to work out, that are in shape. I've actually had some real athletes that come in that just can't develop particular muscles, that get teased in the locker room, that just really want to make a difference. There's even bodybuilders that often come in for different parts of their bodies.
I got to interrupt you.
All right, we're interrupting.
What body parts get teased in the locker room? Dr. Kurtzman, I was going to ask you.
Well, the one here is calves, is because you got these chicken legs or calf or skinny calves.
Who cares?
Well, the other thing that does not for implants, the other thing that gets teased in the locker room is male breast enlargement. And we talked about that last week, how we take away that extra tissue and can make dramatic psychological and physical changes for the individual.
Do you know who John Jones is?
I do not.
John Jones is the light heavyweight, I think, champion of MMA. He doesn't have any calves at all, and he kicks the heck out of his opponents anyway.
It's not a strength thing. It's really an appearance thing, and it's interesting. Obviously, he's in incredible shape. He works out all the time. I'm sure his calves are as strong as a bull, but the appearance is that way, and it's really a genetic thing. It's not anything that he can do to change that without particular implants.
You know, there's a lot of guys I remember from high school that would playing football or whatever. They all bench press, upper body workout, but they've got the chicken legs like you said. So and they look so disproportionate, I guess. From the waist up, wow, this guy's buff, but then no leg muscles, nothing
right,
at all.
And it's not that the muscles aren't strong.
Work the calf machine.
That just doesn't do it sometimes. There's people, bodybuilders that work the pectorals and are great at bench press and very strong, but they just don't get that development, that cut that they need to compete sometimes.
How often do you do man boob reduction? Will you suck out the man boobs?
That's male gynecomastia, it's called. We do that fairly regularly. And again, that's a very, very dramatic change physically and psychologically. These are kids, and it's often teenagers as young as 14 that won't go in the locker room, won't shower.
What about 49-year-olds?
That's another age. There's actually 3 ages where you can get male breast enlargement, and that's at birth when you have certain estrogens going, in puberty, and also in kind of the 40s and 50s where there's some physiologic changes that can develop that. And it is a common procedure, especially in teenagers, but we do see people in their 40s, sometimes 50s, and recently a gentleman in his 60s that had it done. It bothered him his whole life, and at 60 years old, he said that's like the best thing he's done ever.
Good for him.
If you are a male out there and you're a man out there, you don't like your looks, now you know that plastic surgery's for you too. Dr. Kurtzman, how do they contact you for this?
Well, they can go to my website, kurtzmanplasticsurgery.com, or call my office, 513-891-4440.
Do you think you could improve with some plastic surgery, Robin Meade from CNN?
Well, the funny thing is, an interesting thing is about the psyche of women, that there are some gorgeous, gorgeous women out there, and you look at them and you think, wow, I mean, that's the perfect woman. But every woman I've ever met would change something. Now, I'm not saying everyone would do something, but there's always something they don't like about themselves, whether it's a wrinkle, a line, a little bit extra fat, a piece of cellulite. It could be a tiny, tiny thing, but there's always something they'd like changed.
I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. I can't believe, look at my wife, for example. My wife looks great. No makeup, morning, noon, night, no matter what she wears, how she fixes her hair. And you're right. She'll say, I'm fat. What? Or she'll say something. I'm like, are you kidding me? The other thing is with makeup, I can't believe how women, they feel like they need to put makeup on. There's some women, I think they look better without any makeup on, or they look fine without makeup. But you're right. Women are even more self-conscious than men are. But men are too. My son, 19 years old, he had a little chip on his tooth. He went to the dentist and got it fixed. He says, Dad, I got my chip fixed. I said, what chip? And he said, well, it bothered me. I said, well, good. I'm glad you got it fixed. But I never even noticed the darn thing. But people can be more self-conscious than some people even observing them, right?
Very self-conscious. And especially after surgery, it's very interesting that people will spend so much time looking at themselves, checking it out, looking for asymmetries. Is this perfect? Is that perfect? Which is why a lot of times we take pictures ahead of time so we can show them that some of those imperfections were there before.
TC, Rick Scott, domestic and criminal lawyer extraordinaire, sent me a text. Robin Meade needs no improvement, Bulldog.
Rick's a very, very perceptive guy. But now, you said that you and I have talked to Dr. Kurtzman about Robin Meade before, and you looked at her and said, oh, she's had something done. You could tell, couldn't you?
Well, sometimes you can tell, not always. Like I said, with good plastic surgery, you shouldn't be able to tell. Yeah. But when somebody's 60 years old and they're just perfect, it just doesn't happen in real life.
I mean, from your expertise, you could tell. The average person probably.
Yeah, most times. But some people, like I said, some people look like freaks. They look strange. You don't want them to look like that where it's so obvious that they don't look human.
When we come back, I'm going to have a little bit of commentary and get Dr. Kurtzman to weigh in, too, about graduation season. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
9 at Real Talk 1160. Laura Ingraham comes your way 9 to noon today on Real Talk 1160. And by the way, gentlemen, did you know that Laura Ingraham has admitted on national radio that when she's in Cincinnati, she loves to go to Graders? Yes,
Good for her.
Now back to the Doc and the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Got a great email here from Bulldog Nation member Mike, who said, well, you guys got me to turn on CNN this morning. Unfortunately, the eye candy is not enough to counteract what my eyes have to hear. And Mike, guess what? In the studio, we have it on silent, so I don't have to hear it either, buddy.
You don't have to listen to it, just look at her.
I know. Just look. It's all the senses. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, it is graduation season. And, this is interesting because graduation, I'd like to get your comments about this, Dr. Kurtzman. Graduation, we've had 6 children go through high school graduation. We had one child go to college graduation, and you know what? She didn't want to go. And she goes, do you want me to go, Daddy? I said, no, I don't want to go. So we skipped it. But I didn't want to go. I mean, come on, I've seen my kid graduate. Law school graduation with Eric, I'm going to definitely want to go. Cole's at Louisville, he graduates. But every graduation of all my kids, I hated it. I mean, because it was the end. It was the end of an era for them.
Sad.
It was all the innocence. They got to go out in the big old world now, and I still got to help protect them a little bit. And it's just, I just hate it. And also, I sense from them, they're happy they're graduating, but it's kind of bittersweet. And I remember I graduated from high school, college, and law school myself. And every graduation was like, put it this way, the party you had after your last exam was much better than graduation day. Graduation was bittersweet. It's like, it's the end of an era. You're not going to see these people anymore. It's kind of a sad, weird day for parents and graduates. Don't you agree, Doctor?
Well, I agree that it's bittersweet, but it's an end of an era, but it's also the start of a new era. It's the time you start college or the time you start law school or the time you get your first job. There's a lot of positives, too, but the bittersweet part is, you have all these people that you were with in high school for 4 years that group will never be together again at that date. But it's all looking forward. It's all fun. It's all good. The ceremonies are usually pretty darn boring. Medical school wasn't bad because it's a small group of people. You don't have 600 or 1,000 people, so it's kind of quick.
I don't hang out with anybody in high school that I went to high school with. And one thing about Facebook was kind of cool. I reconnected to some guys from Facebook. Ben Dressman, who was one of my buddies. Alan Smith, who went to Latin school but didn't graduate with us, from Smith Mufflers. I was friends with him for a while. Same thing with college. I've kind of lost connection with my frat brothers. Law school, a lot of guys stuck around, but I don't hang out with lawyers.
Yeah, I try not to either.
Dr. Kurtzman, do you have any graduation specials?
We always have specials at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery. Just mentioned the Bulldog or 1160, and we do have some specials. We have some deals. We had a whole Mother's Day month this month. We'll probably do something for Father's Day next month, but we always try to treat everyone special. So there are deals. We match other people. We do this. We do that. We try to make it work for everybody, no matter what you're doing.
What's recovery time? Like we were talking before about like the muscle implants and that. How much downtime or recovery time, I guess, after have an implant or some kind of procedure like that?
Yeah, everybody's different. I have some people after breast implants, for example. I had one woman who was kickboxing the day after surgery, which I didn't particularly suggest. But she says to me, well, you didn't say I couldn't kickbox the day after surgery. So now I tell my patients not to kickbox. But other people, are kind of sore for several days. Usually most things you're up and around pretty well after a couple days, and then without a whole lot of pain after about 5 to 7 days, and then pretty much back to normal after a few weeks where you can exercise and do everything you want.
Well, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not too bad.
How about Botox these days? Are you still doing a lot of Botox? What do you call these mommy makeovers for spring break?
Yeah, well, the mommy makeover more refers to the women that, get past childbirth and have, their breasts may have involuted or gotten a little bit smaller, a little saggy. Their stomach isn't as tight and the skin hangs. They may have some cellulite. They may have some stretch marks. But with the Botox, that's a very common procedure. People come in and say, everybody says I look tired. It's all these people on their 5-hour energy drink now, which just kind of buzzes people out. But the tired look, where you have the lines between your brows, or angry. People say, I always look angry. It's like, I'm not angry, but that's always related to the eyes.
Sometimes I look angry because I am angry.
Well, you have to look angry. Lawyers especially sometimes don't want too much Botox because they do have to look animated. They do have to look angry, especially a trial lawyer where they have to have a lot of facial expressions in the courtroom.
This is interesting. I'm hoping that I get back next week from my Kentucky suspension. I worked in the hayfield this weekend where not only did I help kickstart my diet and lose some weight, I also got a tan head. So I will be looking good when I go in the courtroom.
You'll look well rested. But you
I'm well rested, all right.
Look at the tan on that head.
But I you mentioned that, and I do notice. I mean, some people
jurors point that out in studies. They want to see a lawyer with a tan head. Go ahead,
but not too dark. But you got to be careful too, because there's a lot of people that do use sunscreen, but they forget when people shave their head or don't have a lot of hair, follically challenged. You do have to be very careful. I do see a lot of skin cancers on the top of the head, a lot of precancers. You really need to wear the hat, put the sunscreen on, and be very careful, especially this time of year. The sun is really blazing, and skin cancers have really become epidemic all over the world, especially in some of the southern places.
Let me tell you what I do with that. First of all, I did put number 30 sprayed all over my head and face and everything. So I got a tan while I was protecting. But I want to say this about the skin cancers. It's very true, melanoma and everything else. I go to Dr. Clay Shear. We ought to get him to sponsor the show. Dermatologist, and I stand there naked with one of those those covers that they put on you. And he looks at my body, and I do that every 6 months. And he told me, because I got some skin cancers that run in the family, and he told me if I do that, I will never die from a skin cancer because I get checked. I don't know what it costs me. It's probably like $25, $50. I mean, it doesn't cost me much. And every once in a while, if there's like a pre-cancer on my face, instead of having to be cut out, he takes that hydrogen or whatever it is, that stuff, and goes,
it freezes
it off. But I go and I get my skin checked. I think you ought to go at least once a year.
That's good.
Especially if you've been exposed to sun a lot.
If you've had a lot of sun, if you have a family history, especially of melanoma, or if you've had some pre-cancers or cancers themselves, I will treat the cancers. I'll cut them out, but I don't follow the patients for that. They do go to the dermatologist. And people that have, for example, melanoma, they'll actually take photographs head to toe, because sometimes you just can't tell when something enlarges a little bit, but by photographs they can compare them. So there are many, many important things to get there and to see your dermatologist if you have some skin cancers.
Dr. Kurtzman, I just want you to know that my clients, when I come back and I walk into the courtroom, are counting on me that I do not look like Casper the Ghost, but I look like Hamilton, that great actor that played Dracula.
George Hamilton?
Yes.
Well, he takes it a little bit too much. But
I will not look orange.
Yeah, you see some people that get so much sun. I mean, isn't there a case where some woman has her 6-year-old daughter in the tanning booth? I mean, some craziness like that.
She's bright orange.
Yeah, and I've seen some people that are, in their 50s.
She looks like an orange.
In their 50s, they look in their 70s. It's just not healthy. But now on the other side, you have to remember that sun converts vitamin D for you. So there is a huge amount of vitamin D deficiency.
Bones are strong from the sun.
But people that use a lot of sunscreen, don't go in the sun, have vitamin D deficiency, and that needs to be replaced. That's very important.
Well, Doc, in the next 30 days, I'm going to lose 30 pounds.
30?
And I'm going to get in fighting shape because I'm going to be a television star. Dr. Kurtzman from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery, thanks for coming in here. It's always fun to have you in on Wednesday. Do you have any parting words of advice, TC, for Bulldog Nation?
I'd say be careful about that sunscreen, because that lady with a 6-year-old daughter looks like she's ready to go back to the chocolate factory.
She just looks weird.
Yeah, they look
her lips and her face and everything else.
That's what she looks like.
You're right, she does.
And when we were kids, we were all out in the sun. We used to go to the shore and use number 2, and you'd see women out there with the mirrors to get more sun on their face, and you really see paying the price now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, congratulations to all the graduates this week. I admire you, and may your graduation speeches be short. Every dog has their day. This week is going to be yours. I'll be back tomorrow with TC and the gang delivering radio superbity on Real Talk 1160.